Yeah, check it out. Drama Rock. Always. How everyone doing? We're gonna listen to about this COVID. Just a day in the life, right? No doubt. Let's go.
A day at the office may never be the same, even after this pandemic ends and we begin to go back to work. Our cover story is reported by John Blackstone.
From skyscrapers in Manhattan to sleek campuses in Silicon Valley, offices across the country have been mostly empty for months.
In some ways, this virus is a workplace virus. It's an office virus. This is one of the few things that ever happened that shut every office in the world down.
Designing new stuff. Amol Sarva is co-founder and CEO of Notel, a company that designs and rents office space to major corporations internationally. You're going to be making a lot of changes now.
That is an understatement, John. The world is different, and we're not going
Of
back
course.
to the old way.
For some,
The world's
that
always
may
different.
mean not going back to the office, period. Tech giants Twitter and Square have told their employees they can work from home indefinitely. Other major companies
Nice.
plan to keep offices closed at least until the end of summer, some until the end of the year. That's not good for those in the real estate business, like Sarva.
That's certainly a thought that was through my mind these last few months. What if everyone can work from home forever? Before all this, on an average day at an average company, only about 80% of the people were in the office. Well, in the future, maybe it's 50, maybe it's 60. Certainly this next few months, it's going to be 20 or 30% will be in the office.
Those who do return may find a workplace that is not only healthier, it's actually more appealing.
I mean,
Now, this is where the manipulation comes in at, because I watch these things all the time, and it gets to a certain point, like, all right, now, as they just used to tell us in school, put your thinking cap on, because they about to tell you some crap. And a lot of times, I don't have to watch the whole thing. Sometimes I don't watch it at all. I look at the title, I hear a little bit, I said, cool, I'm going to throw this up on camera. But this one, I haven't thrown up on camera. What I realized sometimes, if you could comprehend without having visual, the better you will understand. Some people lack comprehension, so yes, they need pictures as they hear the words. The mind's a terrible thing to waste. But let's go on to listen.
social distancing and professional distancing means your desks can't be shoulder to shoulder anymore, and I think a lot of people will be whispering, thank God, because they didn't love it.
Well, I don't know about that, but most places I've been, whether it's me doing my own business or going out with somebody to help them with their business, I don't never see nobody sitting shoulder to shoulder. You understand? They don't do this in school. They don't do this in no business. You either got cubics or you got a certain space with a divider. That means this is your space, the next person's space, because it's divided. They telling you here, they trying to show you a picture with people damn near elbow to elbow. You believe that shit? But this is what they want you to believe. The choice is yours.
One prototype for the post-pandemic office is up and running in Amsterdam.
We started the 6 Feet Office project with the ambition to get the world safer and sooner back at work.
Let me tell you about 6 feet. Right? They want you to stay 6 feet distance. Then they give you 6 feet or 6 people carrying your casket. And then 6 feet into the ground. What people not realizing, this is a psychological weapon against the masses. Because many people is becoming unhealthy from wearing a mask, which means you're damaging your system, which means you're pushing yourself closer to death. So people understand why this number 6 is so important. 6 feet for real. This fucking life is deeper than what you think when you dealing with these goddamn monsters.
This is where our day at the office starts.
Jeroen Lokaser is managing partner in Amsterdam of the real estate company Cushman & Wakefield,
When people get here, they
Okay.
pick up one of the place mats.
which has converted its office into a test site for the 6 feet office. Lokaser took us on a tour via Zoom.
We follow the arrows. Everything in our office at the moment is one way.
Carpet colors show where employees can walk and where they can't. Desks
Wow.
are no longer crowded together.
There were in this corner of the building, there were 28 desks. At the moment, there's 16 desks. We have implemented simple things like these glass things behind the screens so people can sit across from you. And this is what it looks like when people are actually working here. How is your workplace at the moment? Happy to be back? Yeah. It's very nice.
See, what they trying to tell you is they're trying to cut the idea of spreading the virus. But what they're not mentioning, or maybe they will, a lot of people will end up being at home, but doesn't mean they will keep their job. And if they don't find a job, if they can't get help, what you think the next move is? I tell you, man, they try to present these things to you as, yo, this is a wonderful idea, but you gotta look at the backside of it all.
Better than at home. Better than at home, so that's always a good thing to hear. And what might be interesting as well is to see what our office used to look like. It is a lot of people in a very small space with not much privacy and difficult to make phone calls and be distracted by your colleagues around you.
Are you going to keep that old office sort of as a museum piece of the way things used to be in the early 21st century?
Don't
think it will
you
indeed be a museum
believe it?
The open office isn't really a new idea. As far back as the 1930s, companies crowded as many workers as they could into offices that looked much like factories.
Yo, also, right now they're saying with the AMF movie theaters, they're gonna be straight like 15 cents. That's what they said, 15 cents. And what they also said, this is how it was in the 20s. Now, it's a thing where it's called the roaring 20s or some shit. But the 20s was like a big time for America. A lot of great things supposed to happen. But, you know, it's kind of crazy how they want to charge you 15 cents, because that's what they said. So let's see if it really be 15 cents for a minute. Amazing. But the person was like, at the same time, this is like back in the days in the 20s. I tell you, they're going to pick up the economy. They tell me like they lost. They're not lost. They know exactly what the hell they're doing. You have to know what the hell is going on.
Proud product of Herman Miller Incorporated.
And then, in 1968, the furniture maker Herman Miller introduced the Action Office.
Action Office offers a full range of completely interchangeable components for all three working environments.
We know it better today, of course, as the cubicle. Fodder for
Did
humor,
I not say that earlier?
cartoons,
Did I not
and
say
the
that?
1999 film Office Space.
Started living for the Lord and I last. Now all I got to say
The cure for the cubicle was a return to the open office, but updated. It became the preferred design for big technology companies. Open offices were depicted as cool and trendy, meant to encourage collaboration and the exchange of ideas. But a study in 2018 found that forcing workers to sit side by side with no privacy actually resulted in a 72% decrease in face-to-face communication. Is it time?
Well, they could tell you what you want, give you any percentage, but a part of this whole situation is getting people out of work. Once they can get you enough out of work, you can't find work of the same salary or can't find work at all. You know what's the next step if you can't find help, like I said earlier.
To say rest in peace, the open office plan?
Rest in peace.
Yeah, the open office is over. It was already over for a lot of reasons. It was too noisy and you couldn't concentrate, and it was well on its way out the door.
But getting workers back into the office will take more than just moving desks further apart.
But to have people make that change in their daily behavior after spending a few months at home requires confidence that it's not a life-threatening situation to go to work.
David Levine is a professor in the Haas School of Business at UC Berkeley.
They always
What
got a
we need at
professor
this
from
point
some college.
is a lot of
Never
studies of
fails.
what type
Never.
of workplaces are safe and in what conditions. It's clear that having a door that shuts is a real advantage in stopping the movement of pathogens.
A door
But
that
we
shut.
don't know at this point how dangerous different types of open offices are.
To reduce the dangers of returning to the office, routines that would have seemed invasive a few months ago are likely to become common. New procedures here at CBS require that before
New
employees
procedures.
go into their office,
More
they
restrictions.
use their cell phone to connect with a nurse, then take their own temperature and show the nurse they don't have a fever. Other companies are doing the same and more.
I'm gonna tell you what's stupid, right? You could come up with a fever out of nowhere. You understand? Sometimes a fever could last like an hour, or the fever could just come and go, and don't come back for days or for months. So if you got a fever, it doesn't indicate you got any fucking thing wrong with you. You just have a fever at the moment. But what they use this for is an open opportunity, because if they could get you with a fever, then they could say, okay, you may got corona, they could test you, all type of crap. So they are crushing our freedoms and trying to use a safety net, or trying to give you what you supposed to think or take as a safety net, when actually, man, we are heading for worse, and there's more to come. But, you know, it's almost over.
Look, the privacy considerations are so vivid. We have had the ability for a long time to
Of course.
track where staff are. Are they in the office? Are they at home? Are they on a trip somewhere, on a private vacation? That
But why would you need
was
to know all of
possible
this?
before. But it
Right?
never made enough sense.
People have the right to
the
privacy
people and the
at
companies
some point.
that it would be a deal worth making. I think a lot of companies are going to propose that deal, and staff are going to have to decide: is it worth it for me?
The value of returning
It's
to
not.
the office is a calculation both workers and employers are beginning to make.
Managers have learned two things.
that
A
they
lot of
dumb
what they've learned is how
and they
much work can
stupid.
be done remotely. At the same time, this distancing has emphasized there is real value in interaction. The water cooler is more than just a cartoon symbol. It really is a place of social interaction, a place
is
of
crazy.
communication, of social bonding. And workplaces do work better when they have more of that interaction.
So they tell you about separation, and at the end, he show you these places work better when there's interaction. So which one is it going to be? Interaction together, or everybody supposed to be separated? That's why I tell you, they tell you two things in one. You can't be speaking about separation and later on in the same paragraph or sentence be like, yo, let's all get together and this is better for us. Once we work all this out, this is much better for us. Yo, Jumbo Rock 'em out later on, man. Y'all peace, y'all be easy. Check it out 1 time, 2 times. Yo, be safe, stay safe, and be aware and stay alert. Peace.